Hello and welcome to another session of We Do AI events. I hope you are already learned a lot from the other speakers so far. Today I'm going to talk about Azure AI Foundry and how you can actually extend it for various projects and solutions, even beyond your Azure environment. So let's continue together and dive into learning more about Azure AI Foundry. So before I dive into talking about the service, I really like to mention about this part of Satya talk where he says AI is the defining technology for our times. It's augmenting human ingenuity and helping us solve some of society's most pressing challenges. So when we are talking about or listening to this kind of codes, that's the really the whole idea. AI is supposed to be this defining technology that boosts humanity and creativity and help us to tackle challenges more quickly. That's exactly what the AI Foundry basically is built. So with this inspirational from Satya, let's continue our session today. All right, let's jump into the first part of my presentation, and let me introduce myself. My name is Said Dol, leader of Azure and AI at Opheads. I'm also a Microsoft Azure MVP, Microsoft MCT, and a Microsoft Learn expert. And I have the honor of being a board member of large communities like Global Azure, Microsoft Zero to Hero, and MS Farsi. If you like to connect and stay in touch with me, just go ahead and scan QR code you see on the screen, and basically from there you have all the connectivity and access to all the links that you can reach to me. So we really need to understand what is Azure AI is and how it's actually going to help us. If we want to break it down into four main categories, one of the biggest things AI Foundry does is centralize everything related to your model and basically AI. Basically, you can have everything in one centralized management or environment, and on top of that, it gives you a playground environment so you can do rapid prototyping, you can quickly implement and basically test different scenario and get them ready for your production environment. Another key point is basically multimodal. That means you can find variety of different models in basically AI Foundry and choose the one of the fits your project in the best way. That way, the AI model you pick, you can help your basically can help you to accomplish what you need for your specific use case. And finally, we have enterprise grade feature. That means you get governance, content safety, observability, and all the security and implementation aspects in one place. The interesting part of the part of AI Foundry right now is that AI Foundry basically work and support different projects, and it's over 70,000 different scenarios or solution, which is pretty much impressive. So for this presentation, we have different part of the AI Foundry. So for the next part, let's take a look of what core components and architecture of AI Foundry actually look like. If we break it down, we can say there is one part related to hub and projects. Another part is about the model and catalog, or let's say model catalog, or model catalog that's basically using for different scenario. And then there is a section about prompt flow and playground. And basically, of course, we will talk to about each other in more detail. So about AI Foundry Hub and project. Uh, Basically, one element is the concept of an isolation or let's say isolated workspace. That means when you have a hub and project under the hub, you can create isolation between different workspace. Each workspace is a separate based on the keys or items you are using for your design. So these projects can be completely isolated from each other, which is very great. On the other hand, you can have shared network. Let's say, in other words, both hubs and project can have certain shared resources under item. Any solution you implement can make use of this kind of shared resources. Also, when it comes to compute and processing, whether you are using Azure resources or your own compute resources still on their Azure environment, but I'm talking about instance resources or some kind of compute resources that you are going to choose. You can set them up in a shared way so that multiple projects or even hub can basically leverage the same compute resources. And finally, there is a security or shared identity aspects. This means you can create a shared identity and security setup that can be used across different projects or hub for various scenarios. It's really important capability to have a shared environment for your project. The other part is model catalog. So when we are talking about model catalog, it's something that is really interesting. When it comes to model catalog, we can break it down into three areas. First is about the model you are using. You can pick the specific model you need for your project. Then there is an option to, for example, compare different tools and model, so you can see the differences and figure it out which one fits for your needs or your project. And finally, you have a benchmark view, which helps you to choose the best model for your scenario by looking at performance benchmark. In the other word, the model catalog lets you select, compare, and basically benchmark models so you can find the best fit for your solution. And then we have prompt flow. Within prompt flow and playground, there are two important parts. One is a low code workflow builder, and the other is interactive model testing tools. So, with the low code model or workflow, you can create a flow for your AI logic. Like, for example, you might design a flow using Python that forms the code structure for your AI scenario. And basically, this helps you to integrate into your project without heavy coding. And the other side, when you are building your solution in Azure AI Foundry, you have this interactive testing tool in a playground environment. This means before you even move on a test stage or any production environment, you can run all the sorts of the tests on your, for example, model and scenario in very professional interactive setup. That way, you can refine everything and speed up your prototyping before you push it to stage or production. All right. Now you basically learned about these three core components. Let's take a look at the main diagram of Azure AI Foundry. If we basically start explaining the from the bottom to the top, you will see that all the lower layer we have in Azure OpenAI resources These are the services you can use to have your AI models do secure deployment, fine tunes, apply content filtering, or run batch job. Then, in terms of services you can use within AI Foundry, you have variety of AI service like language, speech, content, document intelligence, AI services, and then basically it's really great because then except those kind of services, above that layer you have the connections between these services and the other resources. For example, if you need any type of storage account, key vault for your scenario. Finally, you have the AI Foundry Hub resources and the AI Foundry project resources, which basically, like we mentioned before, the project resources are where you can build, test, and basically add different layer of the security to your project. Uh, Let me see. I made some mistake here. Yes, sorry. And then basically we have the other part of the layer, which is related to project and hub. And then you can create different part of the layer for the security for your project, and then also for testing. And then for the AI Foundry Hub acts as the management center where you can manage security, networking, user access, and basically other management layer. Essentially, the hub is your management center within AI Foundry. So basically, you can set most of the security or action settings or kind of connection settings on their hub, Azure AI Foundry hub. So about the capabilities. When we look at the capabilities and developer experience side, as I mentioned earlier, prompt flow is one of those key features that really helps developer. It allows them to create a flow based on something like Python, using their input and output data to build an AI structure that fits their solution. So prompt flow is a big help in designing a proper AI workflow. In addition to basically, in addition to prompt flow, you also have the ability to fine tune your models or scenario or ground them in your data. That means you can connect different data sources depending on the type of the solution you are building, and incorporate the data into your scenario. You also have RAG, which is retrieval argument generation setup available, so you can easily use RAG in your different solution. Importantly, AI Foundry supports multi SDKs, and it's great for developers. And you can find more about them if you scan this QR code that you can see in the presentation. But the main language supports right now, like Python, C Sharp, JavaScript, and Java, all well supported. So you can easily use them to build and implement your various projects. So the interesting part. Let's move on the agent service part. Before we dive into what the agent service capability is in AI Foundry, we need to understand the three components that make an agent work: perception, cognitive, and action. So to put basically in simply, and if I want to explain it easily, perception is about the AI understanding what you want from it, and when you give it as an input, like asking a question, requesting certain process, or wanting to execute a formula, the agent or AI needs to figure out what you are asking for. That's the perception part. It gets what your main goal is. Next, we have the cognitive part. where the agent figured out which services or tools it should use based on your input. For example, if it needs to send an email, for example, speak as a response back to you, or interact with another service, it shows or it knows which of those services needs to be selected. Finally, there are the action part. Once it understands the input and knows which service to use, it's actually carry out the task, sending your request, getting a response, and integrating it into whether automation or AI structure you have. So when we talk about agent service in AI Foundry, it's basically about having a strong agent structure that can orchestrate tasks and integrate with your various tools or services. In AI Foundry, if we break this down, we have two main pieces: knowledge and action, and basically helping you to build your solution. Perception is where the AI understand what you need to do, right? So when it comes to AI agents in AI Foundry, that part will be handled by LLM. However, for those two more items, for example, for knowledge and also for action, uh, basically you can define some kind of knowledge base which is related, for example, to files, AI search, SharePoint, or other data sources that can be act as your knowledge base. And then it gives this possibility and flexibility to AI and agent to understand what kind of data needs to be retrieved based on the knowledge. However, when it comes to action, also you have this kind of connection, for example, logic apps, and also, for example, some kind of OpenAI connection to be able to build some action outside of AI, or let's say AI agentic boundaries. So it gives you a lot of flexibility to build an real AI service. Okay. All right, let's move on the next important part in the AI space, which is observability and also governance. Uh, in this action, we have four main areas to consider: tracing, evaluation, content safety, and also the auditing. These are really crucial for any AI solution you are building. Doesn't matter if it's in Azure environment or any outside of Azure system or platform. It doesn't matter. Still, you have to follow all of these parts to pay close attention to them. Whether you are implementing a service, first tracing is about understanding how you can trace what is happening in your software. There could be through various tracing tools, whether it's something like Azure App Service Log or the built-in tracing tools in AI Foundry. These let you track how your AI is working, which is really important. Next, you have evaluation tools. These are of assessing the safety and reliability of your AI setup before you move out to basically the prototyping phase. And into staging and production, you have a better view of the application. You can run evaluations on your tools and AI flows and get reports to make sure everything is safe and reliable. Another important area is the content safety filter. Your solution needs to follow all the relevant content safety rules and compliance requirements, whether there are specific to your company or the basically border organization. If you are building a public facing solution, you need to basically consider things like AI Act, and basically make sure you are compliant with those regulation. Content safety helps you to basically handle these kind of things. And finally, you have usage auditing and metric. This is about monitoring how much your AI is being used, what the performance tools like, and also whether you are might need to switch to different model for better performance. It gives you a full view of your AI is basically regarding the performance, and also gives you a better view if you are working with different scenarios. Perfect. All right. So now we've had a look at the structure of AI Foundry and talk about how we can put together a simple scenario using Agent AI Foundry. Let's jump into a demo and learn more together. Then we can come back and continue with the presentation file. With that said, I have a demo here. Let me see if already shared. No, I have to share my screen. Just a second. Windows, and yes. Perfect. This is my portal, Azure portal. And I already created Azure AI Foundry resource. But if you want to create a new resource, it's super easy. Just find it here or go to Azure AI Marketplace, and you definitely can find a solution or service. When you navigate to AI Foundry, as you can see, you have the AI Foundry, Hub, OpenAI, and other services under AI service. If you go to AI Foundry, you can basically build an AI Foundry here. You need to name the project, the location. There is some consideration about network, identity, and encryption, which are related. For example, if you want to control your networking, it can be a public endpoint, or it should be basically limited to some private endpoint. Regarding identity, what kind of identity we can assign to our AI service, and also encryption, if you have any kind of customized encryption, or if you want to follow the default value of Microsoft encryption. As I've said, I already created this AI Foundry. And basically, if you want to navigate to AI Foundry portal, you just need to click here, and it's navigate you to AI Foundry. In the first page of the project that I'm located here, as you can see, you can navigate between different project or hubs. You just need to check it. These are basically our OpenAI service. This one is the project. And also, if you create hub, you can see the hub as well. As I mentioned, we have several parts in AI Foundry. For example, from build and optimizing, observes, optimization, project, and govern. These are under project, just but if you want to build a model, it's easily, you can go to my assets, build and deploy any type of models. And when you navigate to models, basically you can get access to different models that are available in your tenant. And based on that, you can confirm. However, if you want to get more information, you can see some more information here. And if I, for example, press confirm with that model that I selected, I can get more information, and also I can customize it. When it comes to customization, I can limit the token. If I want to change the model version, it's only available the model version for GPT-5 mini right now, how it should be, the upgrade policy, and so on. If you have any content filtering that you can assign based on what you have created before, and then you can create and deploy your model here. As soon as you deployed your model, you have access to Playground to test your Playground here. So it's pretty much simple. Now I have the GPT-5 mini. I can build an instruction for that. The instruction is basically same persona that you can build and learn, basically teach AI what can be defined as, for example, input, output, how it should act, what should be the end persona, and so on. And then for this section, you can create system safety system message examples or any kind of variable that you want to share. And also you have parameters here. So the playground is simple. So I can easily use ChatGPT Mini and work with playground. However, if you want to have it inside a code, just view code and you can get information about your AI, the endpoint, what kind of language you are going to work with. You can directly open it in Visual Studio Code, and then basically you can build your solution based on these codes. What part that I really want to share with you and create a scenario together with you, it's the agents part, because we already talked about agent, and basically we can build a solution based on this environment. For this scenario, I would like to test with GPT-4. I'm going to confirm it and then deploy. So when it's deployed, I can get access to the agents. Now I have one agent that we can call it, for example, weather agent. And here you have several items. For example, for the instruction, you can set an instruction for your agent to be able to work with your scenario or solution. And then you have agent description that you can define. But the most important part is related to these three parts. So regarding knowledge, I can connect it to different knowledge. For example, if it's AI being grounding, or if I want to connect it to SharePoint, if I have any files that I can connect to the service, if I'm using Azure AI Search, which is already connected to some kind of resources. For example, one of the possibilities that you can connect it to other data sources. It can be Dropbox, for example. And then basically AI agent can understand that it can use this AI search indexing and vector to be able to retrieve the data. So basically, it's going to be your knowledge of the AI agent. And then we have action. For action part, you have several options to do, from Open API that basically helps you to go through a coding method if you want to build a kind of API that it's communicate with your API, or you can make it a bit more simpler, which is related to Azure Logic Apps, and you can follow the low code, no code scenario. And then connect agent. This part is really interesting. So if you have different agents defined in your environment, then you can create one agent, which one is basically can understand how to communicate with the other agents. So if you have multi agents in your environment, you can build one agent which is can be communicate with the other agents, and for example, run a parallel task, get the information, and back to you. It gives you flexibility to create agent, or let's say AI service with very good performance, and also you can save some cost here. Perfect. So what we are going to do here, I'm going to create two agents, and we want to make it a bit fun, which is very simple. You can build this solution in your environment and test it and tweak around and learn more about that. And then we can test it together. So as an action, I want to build two different agents. One logic apps, and I'm going to use the Microsoft default basically suggested solutions here. The first one is I'm going to use get weather forecast for today via MSN weather. So I'm going to use this one, call it weather agent. And then, okay, I have to do this. And then you are an agent. This we can say this is an agent to get weather information based on locations. And then you need to choose the subscription. You can create have a resource group for that. I'm just going to use a very simple one, and then the location for your logic apps. The next part is connection to Weather for MSN. It's simple as it. And then next, you need to acknowledge about the connection in your logic apps. Next, and it gives you a schema of the AI. This part is really important because it's a kind of understanding between human language and your AI and also the logic apps. So I'm going to leave it as it is and done. So far we have created an agent for this scenario. So I'm going to try it first. How is weather in, for example, London today? So I've got the information that I really needed. So what I can see also here is the information of the run. If I open it, I can see that it's somehow defined the input and output, which is about the perception, if you remember, and then selecting the correct tools, which is about the cognitive, and then action, which is going to call the action that is really required for the AI. And then we have the assistant as the output, all the aspects of the AI agenting. Now we got the information about that, but let's extend it a bit more. So if I back to here, I'm going to add another logic apps, and I want to send email using Outlook. Here, send email, an agent which sends email to recipients. So changes here, and then next I need to connect it to one email address. So I'm going to connect it to email that I have, and then next, again acknowledge. Again, you will get the schema for sending for using for AI. Definitely you can do some changes here, but I'm going to leave it as its default, and then create. Here we have two agents right now, but we want to make it a bit more fun. How? I'm going to create an instruction. This instruction is part of the perception. So we can give this idea about how it can gather the data as the input, and then how it can define as the, for example, how it can be defined as AI understanding of cognitive, and how it should be action. So in instruction, I'm going to write, you are an agent that gathering following information, and then use that to send an email to the recipient. I have to fix this one. To the recipient, and inform them about the weather. You should, we can like this, you should have a funny tone when you want to send, or let's say when you want to create the email. So make smile on their face. We will see. Let's try this one. I wanted to keep it very simple. So one thing that I have to add it here, you should get the name of recipient and also the email address, because it's important. It's part of the input, but you know that you should know that good instruction is really important here. So hi, let's try it. Hi, I want to send an email to Said with with following email address, and tell him about Malmo's weather today. Let's see. So the Malmo weather is defined here. And at the end, it says, please share email address of Said so I can wrap up the note and sparking the humor, and it's over. Send it over. So I'm going to open my mailbox here. The email Charm from Malmo weather has sent it to Said. And if I back here and open my mailbox, which has been received from the email that I registered as the connection. It's for today, 21st August, right now, 416. And this is the email. As you can see, it's added some humor into it, information of the weather, and so on. So basically, you can create an agent which helps you to basically do different actions. And it's simple as it's so it's very easy. And as you can see, we are using logic app. When we are talking about logic apps, it means you can connect the logic apps to any type of resources that you want to build the agent. It can be other clouds or other services, or for example, hybrid cloud on-premise resources, because the logic apps has already a lot of connection options with the other resources. Perfect. It was really good. And let's jump back to our presentation. Let me see. I have to share my screen again. Uh, Perfect. Yes. Now it's ready. Good. All right. Let me start that part again from the top. Now we have seen a good demo, and let's focus on the best practices that will help us design our AI properly. And it's really important because I can say for any type of AI, you can use these best practices. I've broken this down into four main parts. The first part is about rate limits and token. When we are working with OpenAI, we need to Azure OpenAI, or let's say AI Foundry. We need to be aware of that each model has a limit on the number of requests and tokens. And basically, we shouldn't just send a large volume of requests all at once action. It's better to implement a retry logic, so that if a request hits a limit or fail, we wait a bit and try it again. Also, if we know we will have a high volume of requests, like for a large chatbot or heavy data processing, it's good to request a higher quota in advance from Azure AI Foundry service and communicate with Microsoft. The next part is about RAG and data ingestion. When you are using retrieval augmented generation, you first fetch information from a database and then let the model generate a response. It's a good idea to chunk your input into about 1024 token segments so the model can read and handle them better. Of course, when you are using, for example, the new models, you have more options regarding token, but this is one of the best practices. You can also tweak settings like the temperature for creativity, top P for probability range, strictness for filtering, and the number of top documents, or let's say top P documents to retrieve to optimize and quality of the accuracy. For the last one, basically it means how many documents you can put into your AI. Another key area is prompt engineering or system messaging that I showed you in the demo. If you work with AI, you know how valuable is this section. You can set system message to guide how the AI behaves, whether it should be, for example, how it speaks formally, follow certain rules, or user specific resources. And basically, for example, for the agents that we have created, a very simple instruction. Basically, it understands how get the data, how use the data, and how to send email. You can make it more complex and give it some more instruction, and then you can build your agent in a better way. Finally, we have architectural reference pattern. To run a professional AI system, you can follow this pattern, like using private endpoint for secure agent requests and app service UI for better user interaction. It means you can basically save, or let's say secure your connection between AI and front end, or any kind of connection between AI services and the other services with a private endpoint, and use Azure, for example, web application or app services to build a solution which is in the same ecosystem of Azure, and then you can make it better and better. And also, in terms of monitoring for your databases, you have a lot of option when you are using Azure. These are all of the part of the Azure references architecture, and are used in many real world projects. So you should make sure to follow all of them. So all these best practices that I shared with you, as I said, basically are usable for any type of AI scenarios, specifically three main parts, the three first main part that I mentioned it. And the last part is more about Azure. So basically you can have all the resources in one ecosystem and make sure that you can build a secure connection between them. Well, we've reached the end of the today's sessions. I hope you found the information I shared useful. And also, thanks a lot for watching this session. Make sure to check out the other sessions that We Do AI has organized as well. They've put them together very professionally, and they'll help you build a solid understanding of AI and prepare for being prepared for different scenario and project. A big thanks to We Do AI team, and also thank you so much of all the good job that you are doing about organizing this event again this year, and wish you all success. And if you like, you can scan the QR code again in this screen and connect with me, ask your question, and let's keep learning together. Good luck and have a good time.